Warning! The following podcast contains strong language which some listeners may find offensive. If you do,
Up yours! That's only if you don't listen to the podcast. Otherwise, not up yours.
Hello, welcome to the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jay, as always, joined by Troy. And today we've got a very, very special guest, the greatest professional wrestler to walk planet Earth.
To ever walk planet Earth.
Ever walk, my bad.
Woo-hoo.
How's it going?
I'll introduce myself. How about it? Tate'ness is greatness live here in person. The greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth. The future MPS series Tate winner and future Progress Wrestling World Champion.
no lies detected.
I was going to say, my prediction for sure. You've also just been announced for the TNT scramble thing, haven't you? For
That's right, for the briefcase.
Yeah.
The black briefcase.
Could be dripping in gold by this time next year, mate.
Gonna say, man, like
I already ain't.
Dripping in more gold.
what's a couple more to that? Nice.
It's the life of Tate Mayfairs. That's what it is, you know.
That's it. So let's get this started with the most obvious question. What made you decide that you wanted to become a wrestler?
You see, I was born one night on a full moon, and the angels whispered through the air, "Tate'ness is greatness, born for greatness." And it was done. It was said. It was made.
So
Simple as that.
So it was like Druids almost like just kind of summoned you to become a wrestler.
This is a prophecy. Exists. You know, people when mortals, they consider things in time, in linear space. This is bigger than that. This is multidimensional. This is spiritual. This is something that you cannot purely fathom. They are trying to get it through to people bit by bit, weekend by weekend, fight by fight. We are getting there. They are understanding, but some things are, beyond human comprehension. This is one of those things. I can explain it to you in so many ways, in so many words, in so many punches to the face, but you will do it eventually. Tate'ness is greatness. I was born for this. This is destined. This is bigger than wrestling.
That was a lot more of a deep answer than I expected there.
What did you expect?
I expected the usual. I watched this match on TV and then I was hooked.
That's why I'm a cut above the rest. This ain't no normal Jabroni Jones.
You have had a very quick rise throughout the UK independent scene this year. I literally feels like in the last 3-4 months, you've just all of a sudden been everywhere.
Yeah. It's been an important year for sure. Maybe people, I don't know how far they can cast their mind back to them, but 2020, I was picked by many people as being the breakout star of the year. That's all systems would go. Everything was in a right good rhythm going into 2020, and I was picked by many people at the top of the industry to be the breakout star of 2020. What happened? Yeah. A worldwide pandemic. The only thing that could stop me from fulfilling that destiny was a worldwide pandemic. The whole world went on shutdown. So it put a halt to things for 2 years almost. I have been in there, in that gym, in that ring, on the grind while other people gave up. And I understand why they gave up. It was hard times, but I was destined. I was built for hard times to push right through them and show people the way of the greatness. And now it is coming to fruition. This year has been a breakout year that was meant to happen years ago. This year, things have happened. Progress Wrestling, TNT Wrestling, Chaos Wrestling, the WWE, GCW. It all spells the name of Tate Mayfairs.
Good man. I was going to say, we haven't got it written down or anything, but you touched on the pandemic there and how it really put a scupper on things, certainly for you and many other people. And you touched on it briefly there. Yeah. How did you cope throughout that time? I mean, there wasn't an awful lot going on. I know some promotions had bits and pieces they were kind of doing behind closed doors and whatnot. How did you get through that?
It was hard times, wasn't it? It was uncertain times. I'm gonna say thankfully or unthankfully, this ain't my first rodeo of hard times. You know, a man like the Mayfairs, I wasn't born into wealth. That's a common misconception. People see this, they see the swagger, they think he must have had it easy. No, listen to my voice. I wasn't born into this. I was born into the streets. I was born rough. I built myself over time. I have seen adversity. I have been to hell. I have stared the devil in the face. I have slapped that bitch up and smacked him down and walked out tall, because Tate'ness is greatness. I have been through it. I understand it. I understand how to comprehend it. I know hard times come, hard times go. Hard times come and they create hard men, and hard men create good times. And that's what I am. Tate Mayfairs is a hard man who creates good times for himself and eventually for the world, when you all join suit in saying that Tate'ness is greatness.
Every day, daily reminder for those listening, don't forget.
but yeah, how did I deal with it? To answer your question directly, I do follow the, like I say, it's not my first rodeo. I understand that hard times pass. This too shall pass. I always keep that thing in mind when I approach a difficult situation. I understand that I am stronger than anything that can come my way. I can live through it and become stronger for it. So I meditate and I get to the work bit by bit, step by step, no matter how much small of a progression it is. Every time I am progressing forward, and I will be out the other side of it bigger, better, and stronger. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to say to people, but they think that I'm the bad guy for some reason. I'm not sure, but they will learn in time.
They will all come round to it. They'll understand. We did have a question that was on there, and it was, and it kind of feels weird asking you this now, because obviously, and rightly so, hold yourself in such kind of a high regard and stuff. But is there anyone in terms of kind of wrestling of the past that you've maybe drawn influence from, or not even just wrestling, but influences outside of wrestling that you use to kind of build yourself, your character, what you take into the ring, and stuff like that?
First of all, I like the way you phrased that. I'm already so great. I have superseded any kind of influence that could have come in first. I like the way you phrased that. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of professional wrestling, I think there's, a couple of jabronis like The Rock, Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, William Regal, Triple H. They were all right. They did okay. Outside of that, Muhammad Ali was a big influence on me as a child. I think as a human being, there is, you see, this is the thing, throughout history, there are always, in different generations and through periods of time, there are men that stand out above the rest, men that come along once in a generation. He was one of a time bygone, and I am the man of now.
Absolutely. He's one of those people where when he spoke, you listened, and regardless of anything else that was going on, that was the only voice. I was speaking to a friend about it the other day and talking about the different interviews that he did with various chat show hosts. And it was never this person. I think it was famously, it was a Parkinson interview, and it wasn't Parkinson as interviewing Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was interviewing Parkinson. Parkinson was there along for the ride.
As are you, the untitled podcast, soon to be titled Tate'ness Greatness podcast. I'm saying
that's the order.
He was a special man for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What differences did you experience, like working on obviously like in WWE, but more of like a TV sort of like thing, to like working like independent shows?
Oh, so massively. I mean, the independent shows are the Wild West in all the good parts and all the bad parts as well. And equally, the WWE is, when you're there, this is professional wrestling. This is corporate wrestling in all of the good parts and all of the bad parts as well. Ultimately, it's nice to get a bigger paycheck, and that's what you do get at the WWE. And also, you're living out this thing that you have seen since you were a child, and you were a part of it, and you're wearing the brand, you're wearing the colors, you even at the moments where you get slammed into the mat and your wind sucked out of you and you're staring up at the lights for a moment, you go, this is actually I get where I am. And then you get back up and smack the guy in the face, and you're back in the zone. But it in a sense, there is obviously it's a bigger production, right? So they're taking way more care of you in the way that they transfer you to and from places, put you up, feed you, look after you, pay you, etc. Everything is ran on a tighter ship because they got the budget and they've got the experience and they've got the full thing in motion. The whole machine is well oiled and well created and well put together. With independent wrestling, there is less of that, but then there's also more freedom to decide to do what you want to do as well. So they are both very enjoyable, and I am happy to do either or and make as much money as possible.
Of course, good stuff. So turning to we spoke earlier about kind of people of influence from the past, not so much influence, but rather looking at people today within the industry. I don't know, is there anyone active that you would like to wrestle? So whether that be within the UK independent scene, in America, Japan, even Europe, like, is there a list of people that you could see yourself definitely beating anytime soon and would like
I
to?
can beat them all, can I?
A bucket list, a bucket list of people you want to beat.
Do you know what I did have a short list written out. It's not something I post or make public because I think, you know, some people, they're just so arrogant, you know what I mean? And I don't want to, you know, I think everyone should be really humble, and you know, I just think I don't want to like make them feel too special about themselves. But I did make a short list. I won't find it now because it'll be dead air, as they say in the radio world. But I have got to wrestle a bunch of them, thankfully, off of that list so far this year. I recently had a tag match, myself and Alexander Chase versus Nico Angelo and Leon Slater. And I did get to mix it up a little bit with Leon Slater, and I would like to wrestle him one-on-one for sure. Very much so. I'm going to leave it at that because I could name a bunch of others and all the rest of it, but I just want to, let's just place that one right there. I think the 0.0000, I don't know how many 1%. He is special. I ain't going to take it away from him. Good. But he ain't Tate Mayfairs, and he can be 0.0001 all he likes. I am the one and only greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth, and he knows that. So I want to show the world how great I am.
I think that's something a lot of people would like to see. Leon Slater certainly, to your point earlier, you know, pipped to be a breakout star. I think a lot of people have said that of Leon Slater this year as well. So I think it'd certainly be something very exciting to see, and hopefully someone somewhere, anyone listening that's able to put that on, please do so.
Dare I say the two biggest breakout stars from the United Kingdom right now. Make it while you can afford it. That's all I'm going to say to
Hard to argue that.
Might meet each other in the natural progression series.
It's true, right?
Very true.
Both in that, aren't you?
We are both in that. Yeah, we are both in that. Joe Lando as well, Nico Angelo as well. RKJ. There's a few others in there, I'm sure. I won't dead air, like I say. It doesn't matter who they are. Tate Mayfairs is the one and only. This Sunday, go 1-on-1. I don't know when you're posting this, but October the 9th, in Manchester, Tate Mayfairs versus Sam Bailey, and I am going to beat him. I am going
We'll be there in person to watch that as well.
Yeah, in person to witness history. Just like I said, I said I would beat G Money. I did it. I said I would beat Effie. I did it. I'm going to beat Sam Bailey. I'm going to win the MPS, and whether they like or not, I'm going to be the Progress Wrestling World Champion. I'm Mystic Mayfairs. I predict these things. You know what I'm saying? It's happened every time I say it.
It's hard to argue.
Just watch.
Very hard to argue. So earlier I say earlier in the literally just off the back of it, you wrestled for GCW. Is there any plans on going stateside next year?
I'm not sure what I can say.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
We can take that bit out. That's fine.
Leave it in, tease them. But I don't know how much I can say at this point, but
Okay.
I'd bet on it if I were you.
Okay.
Okay.
I know a couple of people who we went to the GCW shows with who weren't familiar with you were like, when can I see him again? So yeah,
I'm a ticket seller Tate. I make fans like this. Boom, 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 boom. I take non-wrestling fans, make them wrestling fans. It's a special attraction. I'm one of a kind. You know this. How many times are we going to say it? God damn. The proof is in the pudding. Tate'ness is greatness.
Tate'ness is indeed greatness. So have you got any advice for people who want to break into the wrestling industry at all?
Well, it's hard for me to say, like, because I was destined for this. I was born.
Yeah.
It was like, it was heaven sent. It was made in the angels and the several dimensions above. So it may be different for different people. I could understand it might be a fun activity to partake in for other people. So what is it? Go to a school would be a good start. Go to a wrestling school. Train in the gym outside of it, because going to a wrestling school 1 to 3 times a week is one thing, but you also need to have you also need to be an athlete. We are athletes and we are fighters, and then we do create this art form of professional wrestling. I train in the gym and in martial arts. Outside of that, I also do other stuff as well to aid my performance in this business. So I would say, get yourself in shape, go to a wrestling school, go to a reputable wrestling school where the trainer has achieved some of the things that you want to achieve in the business, I would say. And then just like keep your mouth shut, keep your ears and your eyes open, get your head down, work hard, turn up to places, and be of value to other people in the industry. Put in the work, show that you're here for the business and not just for yourself. And like almost like the lockdown thing, you keep chipping away and doing that work with persistence and a positive attitude. You will see the results that you want. Same as anything,
Yeah, absolutely.
Sound advice.
And the other thing as well is we are all individuals. And again, this can apply to life. We are all individuals with our own unique, we're like trump cards, we're our own unique settings of skills, of advantages and disadvantages. Hide your disadvantages, excel your advantages, find what it is that you are the best at. And I happen to be the best at everything. So it's a win-win for me. But for everyone else, you may need to figure out what your niche is and go down that line. You know what I'm saying? If you are 7 foot tall, I would maybe avoid trying to do flips and that and the other. I would probably try squash a guy and vice versa. Yeah. Sharpen your tool, fine tune it, and you will see success for sure.
One thing you've really stood out, certainly in the last couple of months, is your Twitter game. What like give you some of the ideas to for some of the stuff you like putting out there?
Well, the thing is, I just see mediocrity everywhere. I see it everywhere. Some people, they're in this business, they're just a bit too shy. They're just a bit too insecure. And you know what? All the greats, what Jake Paul's doing different from all these other boxers that are crying about not getting a payday? He's promoting. Okay? I'm promoting. Go out there and look on there. And most of the people in the MPS, this is a call out to all of you. Most of those people in the MPS, what are you doing? Liking, retweeting? Is that it? God, if that's all you got on that game, like, that's telling of the effort that you're willing to put in on one very obvious thing. I just do that on one thing. That's one aspect of the game that I apply myself to. Now take a look at the spiritual aspect. Now take a look at the gym aspect. Now take a look at the actual fight aspect. Now take a look at the charisma aspect. I am the very best at this business in every single category you could ever define and splice this into. Even my gear looks great. I am the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth. Do I need to say it anymore? Yes, I write some stuff on Twitter. I call people out. I ain't scared. I ain't insecure. I am the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much sums that up, doesn't it? Troy, have you got anything else you want to ask? I've just realised we burned through these questions really quick.
We have, but there's no reason why we can't go straight to the quick fire questions. And if there's anything off the back of that, we can.
And you know what, as well? You have a moment of time in history with a man like Tate Mayfairs. I remember I told you, Muhammad Ali, he was here and he was gone. And wouldn't you like to go back and ask him? You know, you have a rarefied moment with a man like the Mayfairs. Right before, this is the bottom of the mountain climbing up. In time, this will be worth millions. You better pick it wisely. This is bigger than wrestling. I am bigger than wrestling.
Your time is precious, and we appreciate it very, very much so. Well, let's go to these quick fire questions then. And then if anything comes off the back of that, we can pick up a little bit. So we say 60 seconds to answer all of them. We'll see if you can do it in 60 seconds. But, there's the challenge. We lay down the gauntlet for you.
Never been a challenge I hadn't ever completed.
Well, with that then, let's get straight into it. 60 seconds, quick fire round questions. Your dream match opponent, dead or alive?
You know what? Oh, now you have made it harder. It doesn't matter, really. It doesn't matter. There's obviously loads of people from the past that would be fantastic, but let me just say this one thing. I started in this business when I was 14 years old. I started wrestling on shows, and about 16, I was wrestling on shows with a young lad called the Tiger Kid. You know who that was? Pete Dunne. And he went one way, I went the other way. I have been on a whole journey to come back to professional wrestling, and I see him there, and I see where I am going. And at some point, these will cross paths one more time.
Okay.
Who is the best
all right.
of all time?
Well,
I'm the greatest to ever walk planet Earth. I need to prove it against him.
Absolutely. I mean, this question kind of feels redundant now because I don't think you need anyone, but who would be a dream tag team partner? Maybe just another version of yourself.
I think it might have to be. How far away are we off of cloning successfully?
I'm not too sure. You and Charles Crowley have been getting pretty pally on Twitter though the last couple of days.
We just have a common interest and
mutual hatred.
What do they say? The enemy of
my enemy is my friend.
That's pretty much as far as it goes. We both hate James Greenwood. He is a biased, disgusting referee, and we both support the cause of wrestlers against Greenwood. And so I do thank him for that. But there is no other way that I am friends with that dirty little circus rat. So talking about tag partners coming up, Riot Cabaret. You ever been?
No, but I know well, and I hear big things about it. They did a show a month or
I know you've got a mystery partner, haven't you?
I have a mystery tag team partner. Stay tuned.
Are you sure you haven't cloned
18th
yourself?
of October. Tuesday night, Clapham, grand.
Looking forward to it.
Rising wrestling promotions in the country, perhaps the world. And why is that? Because of me. It's fast rewritten. Every time I'm on Progress, it's the biggest selling ticket. Every time Chaos Wrestling is sold out, every single time they have built that promotion around me. I am ticket seller Tate. It is a fact. Yeah, Riot Cabaret, just the same as the others. Tune in, turn up, find out who my mystery tag partner is.
There we go. Favorite pay-per-view? And just to say, we've exceeded the 60-second time limit, but as it's you, we'll allow it.
I can make my own rules. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Time is a construct.
Time is a construct. It's not. I told you, it's not linear. It's an abstract concept. And work outside of it. let me just do the right thing and say that TNT versus GCW or TNT Supreme Extreme that just passed, where it was myself versus young, great wrestler Jordan Oliver. Go check that one out. That was a hell of a show. One of the biggest shows in the UK this year, I would say. It did a lot to put the UK back on the wrestling map, thanks to yours truly. And GCW had some part to play in it. The crowd were hot. It was a fantastic week of wrestling. Every match banged, especially Tate Mayfairs versus Jordan Oliver.
We can attest to that. We were there for the whole thing, and it was superb.
The whole thing,
the whole weekend.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Outside of a Tate Mayfairs match, what was your highlight?
That's a good question.
The what's his name? Well, I've forgotten his name. The deathmatch one at the end.
Drew Parker.
Alex Colon and Drew Parker. Yeah, that was something else. Deathmatch isn't massively my thing, but I've been to a few TNT shows now, and it's really made me kind of appreciate a little bit more of that side of stuff. But yeah, that was superb.
Yeah, I like Drew Parker. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
But wow, doing a swanton off of a ladder onto a guy through light.
Rather you than me, mate.
He can save that one for him. He's all right. He can have that one. I'll let him have that one.
I think mine was probably Tony Deppen versus Man Like the Reese. Very, very fun match.
Yeah, it was really good. Speaking of favorite matches, have we asked that yet? And we haven't. Your favorite match of there we go. That's a segue. Your favorite match of all time. Obviously, your own match is not included.
They're not included.
Well, I mean, you could say your own match, but if we're looking outside of that, then
how about this? WWE Network just recently gone up. Progress Wrestling, handshakes and cheeseburgers or hamburgers, right? Which is after what they were able to afford, what they were giving the GCW talent as a wage, because it's what they're used to. Myself versus Effie. Everyone loves Effie, apparently. Not I. But what I do with Effie is beat him. So go check it out. Spoilers already given away, but it was a fantastic match nonetheless. Favorite match outside of that, I don't know. I saw recently someone wrote on online, like what was they say? The first match that you watched where you were like, oh, this is wrestling outside of TV wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? And for me, that first match was obviously, I'm not that old. I came to it at a later date, but Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid for me was that match where I was like,
okay,
oh, wrestling, and then like, whoa, wrestling. So
that's time.
That'll stand up.
Yeah.
That's
a great call on that. Hopefully a quick and easy one. The Rock or Stone Cold?
The Rock. I love Stone Cold,
of course.
Come on.
For me, that one's a no-brainer, but a lot of people would go the other way with it, but it would always be The Rock for me. So
yeah, he did all right, I guess.
Sting or The Undertaker?
This is upsets people. I tell people all the time, and they leave crying. I've ruined wrestling for them. But the thing is, Sting was not as good as you think he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
The most over Sting was when he spent a year in the rafters doing nothing.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not saying anymore because I may get into heat someday.
But I take it that's an Undertaker pick then.
I'll go 15 on the Undertaker. The Undertaker, come on, the Undertaker. Are you serious?
Next up, we've got NWO or DX.
It's for life, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's NWO for life.
Good man. Edge or Christian?
You know what? I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it to Christian because I reckon he won't get the nod as often as the other. I think they're yeah, and if you watch the small details and some of the things, he always got the desired reaction.
Little nuances, yeah.
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 Ed was very good as well. They're both very good. They're both very good. But I'm going to give the nod to Christian. I don't think he gets it enough as he probably should.
Absolutely, I agree there. Apart from your own best entrance song.
What have you guys got? What have you got?
Oh, the Brood's up there for me. I quite like that. It's iconic, isn't it?
I remember what I said on when we did the podcast of it.
We did a whole episode on just favorite entrance songs.
I had the final countdown, didn't I?
There's obviously a difference between entrance songs that have been written specifically for the wrestler and existing songs that they've taken. So, for example, Edge's song "By Alter Bridge" was an existing song, but made arguably more famous by the fact that it's his music, whereas Stone Cold Steve Austin's music, an original piece of music, which later on covered by numerous bands.
Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great choice.
Nice. Great choice. Love that. Brett or Sean?
I'm sorry, it's Sean. Here's the thing. Everyone goes, oh, is it Brett or is it Sean? Is it not both? When you watch Tate Mayfairs, really, when you actually watch my whole body of work, tell me it ain't both.
That's fair.
Fair. And final.
But Brett does seem to whine a little bit, you know what I mean? So maybe it's Sean. Oh god.
And our final one. Your Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
Tate Mayfairs times 4. Woohoo!
I didn't need to ask that, did I?
Let's say Eddie Shawn. The Rock. And William Regal. For
nice.
Now. No, maybe nice. Brock Lesnar. Why isn't Brock Lesnar in there? Eddie Shawn. The Rock and Brock Lesnar.
Nice. Well, that was the quick fire questions, but actually there was a lot more detail in those than I think we thought. And that
I always give more. I always over deliver. You know what I mean?
Always.
I would be like that. Oh yeah, I really like Jabroni Jones. Shut up. No one cares.
Fantastic. I think that's it. I think we can wrap up.
That's all you've got. Okay, time's up. You had time with the greatest professional wrestler that ever walked planet Earth. More so, a man that only comes along once in a millennia. And you didn't even ask anything outside of wrestling. You wrestling marks. You could have had wisdom from the gods dropped down straight to you. You could have owned the sound bites, the video of some of the most profound pieces of information to ever touch humanity, and you chose to ask me about professional wrestling, you fools. I am the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk planet Earth. Everything you could need to know about it is in everything that I do, the way that I carry myself, and everything I do in that ring. Okay? You want to see what happens this year? I will win the MPS. I will win the Level Up briefcase. I will be your new Progress Wrestling World Champion, whether you like it or not. Every knee will bend, every head will bow, and every tongue confess that Tate'ness is greatness. Woohoo!
Fantastic.
On that note, we can wrap up.
Yeah, I was going to ask Tate if he had anything to plug, but he's left the room. Yeah. Thank you for joining us for what was an eventful interview, to be sure. If you want to tell your friends about this, post it on Twitter. Our Twitter is at Untitled Rest Pod, Facebook and YouTube, Untitled Wrestling Podcast. I believe, will we have this on YouTube as well? Or
it will be up on YouTube, yeah.
Will be up on YouTube as well, yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us, and never forget that Tate'ness is greatness.